After I shared a project that we did in the flip house, I got a lot of questions about caulking. And so I thought that we would do kind of a tips and tricks or tips and techniques that we've learned over the years that make this process simpler and just easy. And so first of all, what I'm going to go over is some of the supplies that we use. You can set that here. When we're doing this. So number one, a damp rag. Some people use baby wipes. We just always have old rags laying around. So we get a rag damp. Painter's tape you can use depending on your project. Obviously a caulk gun and a tube of caulk. And this is a razor. I just filmed some shorter videos. So some of this I'm not going to be able to actually do. But we'll be able to show you all the tips that I shared in those videos. So make sure that you check out my shorts because you'll see us actually doing this in some of the shorts that I have. So first of all, the number one trick is the caulk gun itself. You do not want to buy the cheap $2 caulk guns. They are that's the reason why when you're caulking, it's a mess and you can't get a straight line and it comes out too fast. That is the reason. And when I say get a better one, I'm not saying you're spending thousands of dollars. This one's like $8 to $10. You just don't want to buy those $2 ones that you're cranking to get it out. You want to invest in a little bit, more because that's literally this right here is what's going to make all of the difference. So I just turned it over. So the caulk guns usually have a little cutter down here, and that's how you cut the tip of a tube of caulk. Matt doesn't like to use that because he feels like he has more control with a razor like this. So he wants to make sure that he cuts the tip, a fine tip up here, and he wants it at a 45-degree angle. So he just feels like he has more control with a razor like that. You could definitely use this if that's what you like. But in this video, I want to share what works for us, what we've learned over the years. It may not be what, the professional painter uses, but this is what works for us and it gets the job done. Okay. We just kind of put together these two boards just to kind of give you an example of caulking. So we're having this look like maybe it's some trim that you have on a wall that you're going to paint over. And so, but you need to caulk the gap that's between the trim and the wall or something. So the first thing you're going to want to do, the reason he likes a 45-degree angle is because when you put the caulk gun there, you can see how that tip, as he's going along, that tip is going to push the caulk into that gap. It kind of gives him a second little, push down. He's obviously not pushing any out right now, but that's why he likes that 45-degree angle. If this was something we weren't going to paint over, then we would put the tape on either side of, the gap we were filling, and then, caulk the line and then, push it down with his finger. And then he would pull the tape off and then it would be a clean line and all the excess would be on the tape. But if you're going to paint, that doesn't really matter because you're going to cover it with paint and you're going to get it all smoothed out anyway. So with a better caulk gun, this is going to, as you're squeezing, it just gives a little bit more, what would you say?
Flexibility.
It just, the cheap ones just don't give you
The cheap one just pushes it out. This one kind of is more like a shocking. You push it forward and it just won't push it all out at once.
It has a little more give or a little bit more. Okay. So this right here is the magic thing. This is the one thing that's going to make the difference. So you want to just start up here. What did you say? So you want to make sure when you're starting. Sorry.
Okay, now we're ready.
So you just want to go at a steady pace. You're going to fill that gap or put it all there where you want to fill. And then this is where the damp rag, and I said some people use baby wipes for this. So go ahead and explain what you're doing here.
I am getting my finger wet, just so if it's
dry, yeah. So it just kind of lubricates his finger, because now he's going to use his finger. And sometimes he uses gloves. Do you sometimes use gloves?
Yeah.
Sometimes. But it's just going to kind of get his finger a little bit damp. This rag is not soaking wet by any means. And so then he just uses his finger to kind of push that caulk down in that gap. And he kind of smooths it out. Then he wipes his finger in that damp rag, obviously wipes it off, finds a clean area to get his finger, you know, wet again, lubed up again. And then if he had to go over it again, he would do that as well. Are there any other tips? So those are the main things. Like I said, I got a lot of questions about how do you get the caulk to come out in such a straight line, and how do you get a smooth line? And I just got a ton of questions. So I thought if we just kind of went over, do you want to show it? And then this is what he does when he's done with it, but yet there's still caulk in the tube. Just uses some painter's tape. My dad used to do this. And then just makes sure that top is completely, you know, closed. And then it's ready for the next job. But if we had to choose one thing here that we just shared with you, it would be, Matt, it would be the caulk gun.
You're 100%.
100% is the caulk gun. Matt used to hate caulking because we used to just get those cheap $2 caulk guns. These, like I said, $8 to $10. It's not like you're buying a $50 caulk gun at all, but this is going to make your life so much easier. And I will actually link a caulk gun in the description of this video. I don't know if it'll actually be this one. We've had this one for a long time, but I will link one that we would definitely recommend for you to get. Just stay away from those really cheap and inexpensive ones. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I love to answer them. This is just what's worked for us in our DIY journey. When we're doing different projects, this is what works for us. You know, professional painters may do something different. That's great. That's what works for them. These are the kind of the little tips and tricks that we've learned over the years that definitely work. And you can do this. Just have the right tools, have the right supplies near you. And this is definitely a job that you can do. And I should say, just like with anything, the more you do it, the better you get at it.